And we are live, this time across X with our new Superseed handle, and also on YouTube. We got our new YouTube channel. Anybody that's not currently subscribed to our YouTube, make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube. It's at Superseed XYZ. That's our handle for now until we try to get back the Superseed handle, which we got on X.
Funny how that works, we just traded. Honestly, good trade.
It was a good trade.
It has been a rough bit with a lack of the superseded handle on Twitter, and our YouTube I guess we
got
lost
taken
access
down.
to our YouTube, got taken down at some point, so we gotta rebuild the branding on YouTube a little bit here, but hopefully these streams are gonna help with that.
Yeah, I think people like live streams. You can disclaimer once again, you can get into the live chat. We are posting top comments. We'll share them live. We'll talk about it. So bring your comments, bring your topics. Tell us what you're excited about or what you're pissed off about in the crypto markets. We're here to chat about it all.
Absolutely. And there is a lot to be pissed off about, isn't there?
There is. That was the first thing that I was going to share.
Good segue.
Okay. Yeah, good segue. I'm gonna share the first thing here, just about crypto sentiment. Let's see, one sec here. So yeah, this was the first thing I wanted to get to. So this is I've also been in crypto now since late 2016, so like 8+ years, and like Drexel here from Masari. In my 8 years in crypto, I've never seen like such a big dissonance from like all the positive news that's coming out, like all the big headlines, like basically every single headline about the government getting into crypto and the US like backing stable coins. Like back in 2017, this would have like shot the market up multiples. Everything's just being faded right now. There's just such a dissonance between like all the headlines and the overall sentiment in crypto. It's it's completely wild. What are your thoughts
man.
on this?
It's
Good
hard to
commentary.
be on CT these days. Like most people are not Bitcoin holders, or if they are Bitcoin holders, they haven't been on CT in a long time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And the rest of us plebs are over here arguing about, oh, I got liquidated on my altcoin for the 100th time in a row. Waiting for the alt cycle,
yeah.
alt season soon, guys.
Alt
It's
season's been
like,
coming for 82 years now,
yeah,
but
one of these days it'll arrive.
this is like for me from being in the space for a long time and even before the crypto markets, being in more of the macro space and trading, investing. Like I can say like it's rare that you get an opportunity like this. Oh, disclaimer again, none of this is financial advice. We're just sharing our opinions on things, personal opinions. Don't take anything that we're saying as financial advice. But it's rare that you get opportunities like this, in my opinion, where the prices are, well, at least from Bitcoin's perspective, I think still up on the year. And like all of the other macro markets are kind of up on the year. But sentiment has been this low. Like I was looking at a chart earlier today that sentiment is at the same levels as we like as like the bottom of the 2022 bear market. So like that's pretty wild to me. I guess altcoins are pretty near lows. Like most altcoins are pretty much near their lows. So that part makes sense. But Bitcoin and Ethereum still being up, that's rare.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, man. Um, this is why holding is just the most beautiful strategy, You just DCA and, you look at Bitcoin once every few months. If it goes up, then awesome. If it doesn't, then, you
You
increase your
just keep
time
going.
horizon and you
Yeah,
don't worry about these like small. I mean, if you want to take a trend, you can take the trend of adoption and you can see honestly, don't even look at charts, just look at the headlines. And I'm sure as an investor, you'll be way, way, way more happy because at
yeah,
some
it's so
point,
true.
At some point, but the price should reflect the headlines as well to some extent, right?
Yeah,
So
that's great advice. I think if like 99% of people would just be much more mentally healthy if they got off crypto Twitter and yeah, like you said, just kind of like check out the main macro headlines and be like, oh yeah, crypto's being adopted. Oh, well, it's going to be the main thing in AI. It's going to be the rails of the new financial system. The governments are adopting it. Like, yeah, it's yeah. When you just look at it from the headlines, like we're on an upward spiral here. It's just the price action has been rough. And as Tommy talks about here, Tommy, shout out Tommy from Delphi. He's smart dude. Max Pain, which is a concept that I've been talking about for a while. The next Max Pain is probably when crypto pumps and everyone else is on the sidelines and in equities because everybody's just kind of like gone out of the crypto space. So yeah, I completely agree. Like the markets always find a way to find max pain. And sometimes when it's been this painful, max pain means the markets are pumping while everyone's on the sidelines.
yeah, I
Which
mean, crypto is just like a series of max pains over and over, you know.
it
You're
is.
really tested in your I mean, it's a good test of emotional volatility, right? Like I
Yeah.
think that's one great way to tell if like you should be a trader or a holder. Like, can you deal with emotional volatility? To some extent you have to learn it, but then also like you can just choose, you know, you can be like, should I just get way, way, way more stressed every single day, or should I, you know, work
Touch
on
grass.
whatever else, touch grass, you know, spend
Hang
time
out with the
with,
family, just dollar
yeah,
cost averaging.
DCA and chill. I mean, I'm sure there's so many people DCAing and chilling on Bitcoin and Ethereum, probably more on
Absolutely.
Bitcoin right now, but you know,
Yeah, I mean, perfect transition again. Like for the record here, Chris does not know like the things I'm going to bring up, but he's transitioning perfect into the next thing I wanted to talk about,
on the
which was
stage.
like, which was that this is super interesting. Like basically, it's just the what we've talked about last time, but Bitcoin is flowing from large holders right now into these dollar cost averagers, which are mainly like new holders are coming in through these ETFs now, and basically like there's been what this chart is saying is that there's been very large sells. Everyone basically like following the guidelines of the 4 year cycle. Every 4 years, there's these large amount of old Bitcoin holders that are just selling off, and they've been doing it this cycle as well, even without the actual like big price moves up like that the previous cycles have endured or enjoyed. So basically, like yeah, I mean, overall, this is like actually great news for the maturity of the crypto markets and for the maturity of the Bitcoin market. That like instead of like having one BTC whale that's holding like whatever 9,000 Bitcoin or whatever some of these sales have been, it's better to have those Bitcoins like spread out amongst like 9,000 holders instead or whatever more. So long term, this is very good. But yeah, when the price hasn't been going up as everyone's been hoping and expecting, and you're still getting these whales selling out, yeah, it holds down markets a little bit. So that's one of the theories around what's been kind of slogging.
Yeah, I mean, there's always new things to like look at to try and figure out why Bitcoin is moving the way it is.
Yeah,
Um, I think it's helpful, at least to cope, you know, at least a little bit. But
coping is
I mean,
good.
it's hard to say at the end of the day, you know. You really, it's hard to take into account all of the possible variables because there's just way, 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 way too many at this stage. But
Mhm.
you know, I think I think it's pretty clear, like the incentives for the underlying powers that be are to accumulate and support Bitcoin
Yeah,
going forwards, and that's probably the most, I don't know, the most clear indicator that you could really care about.
yeah.
Um, and as long as that continues to be true, you know, it's looking up for the old BTC and the rest of these cryptocurrencies. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just to kind of take this point home here, like this is another post. Like it's just pretty wild to see. Like this is what's known as a Satoshi era wallet. So this is like someone that's basically he- like held BTC all the way from like back in 2011 when Satoshi was accumulating coins also. Um, and he held it all the way from 2011 to this year and sold $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. Um, Wild, absolutely
Where is
wild.
this man? Where is this man? Who
Yeah,
is this guy?
this one holder with like if you add it all up there, around like 12,000 bitcoins, which is absolutely crazy. Um, so yeah, pretty wild to see. But like on the other end of every single sell is a buy. So that just means that there's now like a bunch of new Bitcoin holders holding those 12,000 bitcoins. So that like as far as like mature markets goes, that's a very good thing.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this is what you want to see, and this is what you want to see for a token that's gonna appreciate a lot in value is having people that come in at a much higher cost basis
Hmm.
and kind of attach themselves to a certain price, right? Like
Hmm.
anybody in
Well,
the trenches knows this as well. The best possible thing that can happen for your token early on is that it gets sold off, but it's sold off and it doesn't insta rug.
yeah, and it
And
distributes out to like just a bunch more holders.
right, and these new holders now have their own incentive to push Bitcoin, to adopt Bitcoin, to distribute it. If you think about it as a meme, like you just this is the most healthy thing that can happen for the distribution of an idea or in this case a cryptocurrency. So
Yeah,
and
over the long
where
term.
right, exactly, where those people wouldn't have had that incentive, or at least the incentive didn't exist as much, where it was just this guy who's sitting on 1.5 billion in BTC,
Yeah,
like completely dead, right? How many more people are
yeah,
going to be super invested into Bitcoin just because of this guy?
yeah,
Um,
exactly. It smooths out volatility also because like if you think about it just from like a psychological standpoint, like um, if there's one guy holding 12,000 bitcoins, or there's a million people holding those same 12,000 bitcoins, like you want the million people holding the 12,000 bitcoins because like yeah, like maybe one guy just has like a bad weekend. He's like going through some stuff and he's just like, I can't take it anymore. Like it's been too long and I'm going to sell everything. Well, if that's spread out along like million different people or 10,000 different people, whatever it is, like, yeah, maybe you'll have like a couple of those people who are going through a similar thing and just need to sell out, but they're just going to be holding very small amounts instead of just one guy with a very large amount. So yeah, in theory, from a psychological perspective, this really smooths out volatility, um, and yeah, helps mature the market. Like I said,
we do love to see it.
yeah. What else I got here? Oh yeah. So that's the doomer case, and then we'll get into some more optimism here. So yeah, one of my favorite macro guys, Raul Paul. Um, he posted this chart here. I won't go into everything that he's reading or everything that he wrote, but this is where we're at right now. Like this has historically, this is a liquidity index. So basically, from a macro perspective, like all of the markets run on liquidity, and this is just like more proof that we haven't had any sort of a cycle yet. Because the where we are in the liquidity cycle right now, and liquidity being like just like money that is flowing into the market, like net positive, um, we are at levels that we have not seen since the great financial crisis back, like coming out of the great financial crisis back in like 2008. Like that's what set this green bar at the bottom. And then it hasn't been back there since now. So yeah, we are just at extremely low liquidity levels. And as you can see historically, like during the 2021 bull run, it got up to the highest
Oh yeah.
standard deviation there. But even like, and that was like a whole new level because we had money printing like we've never seen before. But historically, like this gray bar was the high bar for liquidity, and that's what like drove the markets in the previous bull markets, like the 2013-14 bull market there, at that gray high bar. The 2017-18 bull market, the top was at that gray bar, and then we set a new level during the COVID crash, basically, and we haven't been anywhere close to either of those bars this cycle. So, just a little bit more optimism and proof that like this cycle hasn't really happened yet. It is very likely to be extended, in my opinion, into 2026. I think in 2026 we hit one of these high bars up here, like as far as liquidity, which should drive the markets. What do you think about all that?
Just looking at this chart, it seems like the liquidity tends to cycle between phases of 2 and 4 years, and it looks like we're coming up on the 4-year mark. So I think this type of graphic really helps to demonstrate, like, if you look at the Bitcoin chart relative to this and try to map out the Bitcoin price action between like 2020 and 2021, let's say end of 2021 into 2022, imagine how huge this line is on this index that it just maxes out completely. And now we have like barely a speck move between like the lowest tier possible of liquidity on the index to, whatever the purple line is. The first purple line is, and then if you map it out onto the Bitcoin chart, you just see like unbelievably higher highs, just like a complete total chart breakdown upwards. And it's like, okay, well, that should tell you something, right? You should really have a much higher projection of your mind of what is possible for Bitcoin price action,
Exactly.
in my opinion. And
I completely agree. Like if this pans out like previous business cycles and we get the liquidity coming back, like this government shutdown has not helped at all. Like basically it's shut down all liquidity from the US government. Like there's been no injections. They haven't been paying any bills. They haven't been injecting any new liquidity. China's like the only country that's injecting any liquidity right now. So it's been brutal. And if you project that out and we are to like get back up to one of these high standard deviations up here in liquidity, that like if you just map that out, that results in like Bitcoin going much higher than people are expecting. Depending on how this all goes, like people are like showing price targets of like 350 up to over 1 million. So let's see. There's been a delay, but I think it's going to come back in a strong way in 2026.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, just guys, don't get liquidated. Whatever you do, just survive.
Stay away from the leverage and stay in the game. Stay in the game.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is there's probably always a trade that you can hyper leverage on and make insane wealth if you get lucky. But also, just look at this chart, man. Just look at you don't need to do that. And if you do want to
Absolutely.
have some level of hyper gambling in your portfolio, then you have some contacts, keep some contacts. Don't get liquidated.
Exactly.
You
Completely
won't
agree.
regret it. I promise you, you won't regret not getting liquidated.
Yeah, I can promise that also. In other crypto news here, I thought this was super interesting. Wonder if you came across this. Basically, Bybit put out a report that revealed that, again, this is just their report, so like it probably needs to go through some different channels and be verified and all that sort of stuff. But like 16 major blockchains contain hidden code capable of freezing user funds. So very interesting. If you zoom in on it, the ones that have they verified have hard coded freezing ability are like BNB chain was a big one. Solana was on here somewhere. I don't remember. Sui. I thought it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, well,
Sure.
I thought this was very interesting because, again, do your own research, and this hasn't been like verified from multiple sources, but Bybit put this out. I don't think they would like throw their reputation on the line by like producing FUD. So I just thought this was very interesting that like one of the only main top blockchains that didn't have freezing ability was Ethereum, and I think that just goes to show that like, hey, like this is maybe why BlackRock and a lot of these like uh, big projects, big companies are really betting on Ethereum for like the decentralized open blockchain of the future. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Do you mind clicking on that image real quick? Let me just, because it
Yeah,
seems like there's a lot of yeah, like I recognize Celestia, Atom, DYDX down there, Inisha, but Ilion, yeah, I mean, you know, this just I don't know if this is separate from just a sequencer having a lot of power and maybe it just having not decentralized as a chain yet very much, right? There's so many chains with one core sequencer, and in theory, he has total ability to determine the mempool, right? And what is
yeah,
approved in the mempool. So, I mean, people should always be aware of the decentralized nature of the chains that they're interacting with. That's a core part of due diligence. Due diligence
yeah,
if you're ever going to do anything in DeFi or in crypto in general, because a lot of times you don't even know how exchanges are using your funds, what blockchains they're on.
yeah.
Um, it's important to know these things.
Yeah,
So,
that's a very good point. Just to yeah clarify and like emphasize is like yeah, I think the ones under the potential freezing ability category, I think that's probably right. If I had to like guess, is that yeah they probably just have like some sort of like central sequencer or whatever that has majority control and has the ability to freeze those funds, and it's just a matter of like hey okay if you can decentralize over time maybe you can remove that risk because Solana was in this report initially too. Maybe they've been removed now because I seen that they disputed that they were on there, and that could have been the reason why. Maybe they are sufficiently more decentralized now. I'm not sure. I haven't been following Solana too much, but yeah, just like you said, like do your own research and make sure you're on top of these things. But I guess my conclusion is that at least Ethereum is sufficiently decentralized that at least you don't have this risk. There's always smart contract risk, but at least you don't have this risk.
for sure. And there's even more, like, the more you go down this rabbit hole of decentralization, the more you learn about things like, the clients that run the blockchain. Okay, what percentage of the clients are run by how many percentage of the validators? So, for example, Ethereum has like a large variety and a pretty low percentage of people just using one client to validate the network as a validator, right?
Mhm.
Other chains, maybe there's less open source work done. There's less people doing creating validation software. And if at any point there's a bug in the software or there's like an issue, a backdoor, whatever, you still run into problems with decentralization, even if you do have a lot of validators, even if you are relatively decentralized from a validator slash miner POV, right? So there's
Yeah,
just
it's good.
a lot of risk that people should learn about um, going.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, yeah, to be fair, I don't think, like, from my personal opinion, I don't think that a majority of people, I think this is why traditional finance and like banks and everything have been so successful in the past because people just don't want to think about these things. And like, to be fair, I don't think that they should have to so much. I think that it is on like it's on us like the builders in the space to like find solutions so that people don't have to go like like especially from a UI UX perspective like go through so many like loopholes just to try to place transactions and be sure that they're safeguarded and that sort of stuff. So but yeah, I think there's a lot of technology that's being built that helps like with smart accounts and like smart functionality of wallets and especially with like crypto and AI like merging at some point. Um, I hope we can build like these like smart enclaves, whatever they're called, and like allow like AI to be able to access private keys, but in a encrypted way that they can't actually do anything with it. And I think that helps solve a lot of the UI UX problems. Yeah, let's see where things go.
You just opened my mind to a horrible situation now where you have the whole agent economy on chain and you have some like a systematic risk that happens and then you just see like millions, billions just lost because of these AIs or these agents using these tools and just finding or being exploited,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. This is why we have to like when we are using all these agents, because agents definitely are going to be like the main transactors in the future. We have to make sure that they have like, yeah, like they're kind of siloed off, I guess you could say. Like you have access to this private key, but it only gets funds if these requirements are met and that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's things we have to do as builders to like make this like very safe.
For sure. Yeah, I think the more I think about this, the more I realize like the time horizon probably has to be quite high or quite large before we see genuine adoption of these agents on chain.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, for large transactions anyway, for sure. I think micro
right,
transactions will
true.
happen faster, but yeah, I agree.
That's a good point.
Um, Another big thing that was happening in the space this week was Coinbase announced that they are starting to do, well, they acquired, as we talked about on our previous one, they acquired Kobe's company, which was like an ICO platform basically for making like token launches more fair, and they are launching their Coinbase ICO platform with the Monad um, token sale. So that was pretty cool to see. I don't know like what you've seen around the narratives around this, but anyways, I thought the ICO platform was a good idea. They are trying to like make it so that like hey, if you sell the tokens within 30 days, you get smaller allocations on future projects in the future. So try to get like more it's incentive aligned, like long term holders as opposed to just snipers.
Yeah, I mean Echo is pretty good from what I had seen from people's reviews, people's experience with the platform. And this is a great way to start their own. Like I'm sure this is gonna be one of the more popular products that they put out this coming year for retail users, right? Everybody remembers ICO booms, everybody remembers people getting really rich off these low valuation tokens. Um, and everybody cares about having exposure to like new projects without having hugely extractive players kind of manipulating the dynamics of a token sale, right? So
Mhm.
having something like this is really good. Starting with something like Monad, I think, is really good as well. You just come out of the gates, just you know, guns
Swinging
out,
basically.
guns
Yeah.
out. Monad is it is one of the most popular and the most hyped projects of the last 2 years, probably.
Yeah, they've been speculating about their TG for a long time now. So glad that it's finally going to get it over with and get that uh, like out of the mind share, I guess.
And Coinbase has a really good opportunity to get a lot more market share from things like Binance as well.
Hmm.
Purely if like from doing this better, right? Because everybody understands at this point that Binance launches are, you know, no shade to Binance, but it's not always the most profitable for the retail user, it seems. It's a pretty rough entry on most of these new
I
token
mean,
launches that they do.
yeah, I think the best way to view it is kind of like it's like the IPO of the crypto space. Like well, a lot of times, like if you look at IPOs in just the traditional markets, also like a lot of times, like the IPO is like a pretty high point, and then there's a pretty big sell off, and then it takes a while to get back to that IPO price. And yeah, I think we've seen the same kind of pattern, yeah, with like Binance launch projects. Hopefully that pattern can change. I hope that these ICOs and projects, similar to what we did with the super sale, like giving like users a very early opportunity to get in, Hopefully, over the long term, that can be beneficial to these users that get in, because a lot of times, like when you involve VCs, then the VCs get all of the early action, and then the 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 average retail person trying to get in just gets these much higher valuations at a much later date. So yeah, hopefully we can go earlier and give more people more opportunities.
I hope there's also a lot more clarity for this product with how, market makers are functioning. I'm assuming there will be just because Coinbase is so attached to like US jurisdiction and they want to be very compliant. They
Yep.
want to be able to capture as much market share as possible, and I feel like, market maker deals and like, holder distribution details and dynamics that are kind of shady when it comes to Binance launches could be improved upon a lot by Coinbase. That would increase their reputability very, very much, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
completely agree.
people want something to be able to make money off of. So if Coinbase does provide that, or they have a good system for, launches, that would be great, I think.
Yeah, completely agree. I think that's why they acquired Kobe's company, because they had a good like system way of doing things, and Kobe's got a good reputation. Also, he wants to make things more fair for the crypto industry. He's been a long time OG, so yeah, I definitely wish them all the success on that. We need a good product out there that does like a launch pad for this. And then on a separate note, there's also more speculation that with this ICO platform, this could be how they're planning to launch the base token, which is interesting speculation. They might, I would have to assume that they would do like a token sale through this ICO platform for the base token. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it would be crazy if they do launch a token. I'm sure it would be like one of the heaviest hitters possible. A lot of people would eat on a Coinbase token.
Yeah.
Given the distribution systems they already have their network to reward people. They have like years of people using their chain or their exchange and their platform.
Oh
Um,
no, sorry, like base the L2. I think that they'll launch the L2 token, not a
okay, okay.
yeah, not a Coinbase token, but like still, I
Right.
mean, I'm sure they'll have an allocation, and some of that will go back to like Coinbase stock holders also.
Yeah. It is weird that they do, having both entities, Coinbase stock and the L2. I don't know if there's an arbitrage or something that people could do there, but
Yeah, I wonder how that'll be priced. Yeah, interesting anyway. And then kind of speaking about, we spoke a little bit about Superseed, but just to give people updates. Um, Not too much more that we can share this week. We had the community call last week, so I encourage anyone that like didn't already check it out, head to our Twitter, which has a new handle at Superseed on X, and check out our community call from last week. David was on, Nick was on. We went into like some pretty good details about like what's happening. Just to give a little bit more teaser about what's going to be launching here very soon with our money market. We tweeted this out, which kind of gives you a little bit of an insight about like what the focus is going to be with this money market. Where we think that there's a big opportunity with stable coins, and potentially like having the money market that really is the best place for stable coins. So yeah, we'll be sharing more on that in the near future. The money market is already, like Nick said on the community call, it's on testnet. Testing's going very well. We're testing liquidation engines and all that right now. So yeah, we're getting close. I'm super excited about this launch.
yeah, it should be a good way for people to at least interact with something and start getting involved with Superseed native products, right? This is something that's been in the works for a while, so
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that haven't checked it out already, you can go to paragraph.com/at supersede XYZ. That's our main blog website. We just put out this phased roadmap to Superseed EP. So yeah, again, for those people that are just tuning in for the first time, maybe aren't aware of what Superseed is, we are an early stage project in crypto, but we're starting to get into our core product launching now. And our core product is the Super CDP. And we've just released our roadmap for the 4 phases that we're going to be rolling this out, which with phase one is going to be this new money market. With a little bit of a sneak peek and stuff in there for you. So yeah, check that out. Supermarket launching pretty soon here. We're very excited to start rolling this out and phasing up to the Super CDP as we start rolling out our core products. It's going to be exciting. Creating these revenue streams to be redirected back to users. That's going to be the end goal.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if people understand the scope of the super like collateral vision. And even us internally, we're trying to really refine what could be possible. I think, today we put out a post about what a
Yeah, it's very
mature
good.
Superseed ecosystem looks like. And there's a lot of
Pull that up.
interesting business models in crypto these days that don't even need to be directly linked to a DeFi application, right? People can make money off the data from their users. People can make money off of you know even like collaborations. People can do a lot of integrations and use collaborate to like use um, other products in the space. There's just a lot of ways to get access to revenue sources. And ultimately, we don't have to be the ones who create everything necessarily, but we do get a piece of the revenues for, providing other people with our community, our token, our whatever. So,
Yeah, the
you can
tools.
you can think a lot about what a future Superseed ecosystem would look like, well, especially post potential integrations, especially post a lot of native products with revenue streams. And I think if you really, really are able to gauge, like have that vision in your mind, I think right now you would realize that there's an unbelievable amount of upside to being involved in the Superseed ecosystem. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah, those are great points. And like this is like a really good post that uh, yeah, Chris put together here, and it just kind of goes over like the current revenue streams we've currently announced. And I think that it's important to point out that like a lot of people initially when they think about Superseed, anyone that is aware of Superseed, they think, oh, Superseed layer two, the layer two on Ethereum on the super chain. Yeah, we do. That is one of our products, like the layer two, but that's just like one small piece of the overall big pie. And it's just one way that we are going to generate revenue. So it creates sequencer fees, but yeah, there's just so many other ones that are still yet to come. The money market is coming. Proof of repayment vaults are coming with the CDP. Yield from non-super collateral CDP positions also coming with the CDP, and then like you kind of outlined here with potential future streams like DEX swap fees and RWAs and prediction market fees and all that sort of stuff. There's just so much potential. And I think the point is what we're really trying to do is like be purpose built and focus on our niche and focus on like DeFi and being this place for easy to use DeFi and apply. Like this is what crypto is all about is being able to be a part owner in these ecosystems basically, and then having all of these revenues kind of cycle back to the owners of the ecosystem. So I think this is one of the really cool things that crypto and DeFi enables. And yeah, we just want to be a home for that. So very cool post. I'd recommend checking this out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just, it's good for people's framing in their mind about, okay, what is Superseed? They might think, oh, it's a CDP, oh, it's a money market, oh, it's, a L2.
Mhm.
It is ultimately the system that is built for the repayment of super collateral loans. And whatever way that is executed on, um, you know, can be malleable, can be changed, it can be iterated upon, but the ultimate goal is not to be, oh, the best CDP or the best lending market. Oh, be hyper good in your niche necessarily. It is to provide these revenue sources and to hopefully provide products that are able to do that in a really productive way, an efficient way. So, that should be the framing in people's minds, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Very good points. Yeah. And a good way to kind of wrap it up, unless someone from the community has anything in the comments there. That's kind of all I had for this week. But yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. And then go check out our new handle at Superseed on X. That post that we just put out today, the blog that I mentioned, which kind of details our vision and roadmap. Yeah, lots of very cool stuff. And we will get back to you next week and have more to share. Hopefully, some stronger markets also.
Absolutely. Hopefully we put the bottom in again, as we do.
Yeah,
The
as
usual.
we do. It looks like there's lots of buying trying to happen. So let's see if we can bottom it out.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We will see you again next week.
Take care, guys. Peace.